Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we continue in the 12 days of Yorion. I think this is number 3, and it's working! We actually are slowing the decline in the sub rate. Whereas before we lost 4 days from December 15th to 19th, we are currently now paced for December 20th, which means that the Yorion decks are working. And I'm pretty excited to show you this one, because this one is actually making the rounds, and big name pros and competitive events are starting to see this deck all over the place, including on ladder. And it's DIMIR UGIN. Let me move some things so that you can get a better look at the lands. DIMIR UGIN, a blue-black control deck that plays Yorion and 80 cards. There are lots of reasons for 80 cards. For one thing, it can beat rogues, but it probably would not beat a Ruin Crab without 80 cards. Thing number 2, there are lots of blinkable things in the deck. In this deck, we can blink Omen of the Sea, we can blink Maze Mind Tome, we can blink Solemn Simulacrum, the sad robot, and we can blink Ugins and Ashioks that get too exhausted. But there are no Yorions in the main deck. It's only as a companion. It's only as a supplement to the main plan, which is control the board, Solemn, Planeswalker, Ashiok, and Ugin. This deck also gets to play a number of counter spells, Sublime Epiphany being the big one. This one is particularly good at copying a Solemn Simulacrum or your Yorion and giving you more triggers and more lands so that you can get to Ugin the Spirit Dragon, wipe out the opponent's everything, and proceed to win the game from there. The other cards that you play in the deck, basically it comes down to taste. I've played with a lot of versions with this deck over and over again, trying to find the right mix. Cards that I'm not playing that I've tried. Shadow's Verdict. I really like Shadow's Verdict a lot. I think I played 2 or 3 of them in my 60 card Dimir controlled pile. So seeing none in the 80 card pile feels weird, but I think that the meta changed, and I think that playing more expensive cards like Shadow's Verdict alongside Ugin, Sublime Epiphany, and Ashiok just makes it harder, quite frankly, to cast the card, curve out into the card, whereas I would much rather have cheaper interactive spells like Eliminate, Heartless Act, Bloodchief's Thirst, and I have 4 copies of Elspeth's Nightmare to also keep the creatures off my back. We still run 4 Extinction Events. That card is just really good, but then we get to the counter spells. A lot of people like Neutralize. I tried Neutralize. This deck, even though you're running a ton of blue-black dual lands like Triome and Temple of Deceit and Clearwater Pathway, that's kind of an optional dual land, and 4 Fable Passages, it's really hard actually and unreliable to get double blue on turn 3, which is why I'd prefer to have Elspeth's Nightmare instead, much easier to cast. So Neutralize out of the deck. I ended up cycling it too much. It just wasn't doing it. Instead, we rely on Sublime Epiphany and Negate and Essence Scatter to be hard counters, and we get to play 4 copies of Jwari Disruption, which helps us hit our land drops and get to Ugin, while still having some kind of a counter spell that can snag a Genesis Ultimatum and various things along the way. 3 Cling to Dust. Best of 1. The Rogues are back in a big way. They had petered out a little bit in the middle of the meta. Not a ton, just slowed down a little. But they're the deck I'm encountering more than any other on ladder. And the thing about Rogues that I think tilts everybody, we've talked about it many times, when Rogues beats you, it often feels like a steamroller. If you beat Rogues, it often feels like this endless grind that takes forever unless you're playing an Embercleave deck. In which case, we don't need to talk about that. You don't need to admit your dirty secrets here. But the grind against Rogues takes so long, and if you end up losing that grindy game, it's so bad. And I think that playing 3 escape cards in your decks, especially your Yorion decks, is just good for the soul, because it lets you grind those rogue decks into dust and gives you a real chance of winning those long games. I really like this Dimir Yorion pile. There's a lot of room in it to season, to taste. Cards like Thassa's Intervention are things that I've tried. Maybe you will enjoy them more than I did. Things like Neutralize. There's the 8 Shark version. You can get Shark Typhoons into your deck. There's a lot you can do. This is the version I recommend for ladder. It's been doing the job for me so far, so I'm excited to play it for you today. And with without further ado, on that note, let's dive in and let the nonsense begin. Well, it has land, so at least I shouldn't get mana screwed, but we don't have many answers. So the tome has to make sure our draws are fine for a few turns. And there it is, the Edgewall Innkeeper. Good draw on the Heartless Act. Just starting on turn 1 on the play, must answer threat into must answer threat. Let's see if they do it again. Let's see if they can do it for 3 turns in a row. How good is your hand versus how good is mine? Merfolk's Secret Keep myself. Gets Ox of Agonis. 6 cards in graveyard means they can't bring it back yet, and we have a Cling to Dust, so that's pretty nice. How do we want to play it? I think we'll play the Barons and use the Cling and the Omen in this sequence. What is the opponent up to? I haven't seen Merfolk's Secret Keeper in a minute. This might be a different take on Temur Adventures. One that really misses Lucky Clover. We'll cut Lucky Clover. We'll add Ox of Agonis. Easy. Okay. The pressure is real from the get-go, but we know people make a lot of mistakes with Fae of Wishes. Let's see what the opponent grabs against us. They grab Balaged Recovery. Awesome. Okay, that makes me want to hold the Cling to Dust until they target something with the Recovery, because I think they want an Edgewall Innkeeper. Don't need those lands. That's a pretty clear bottom. Into a draw. Essence Scatter off the top. Get the tome on the field, start getting more cards. Only 2 cards in our graveyard. We're going to need to fill it to bring back the Cling. Song of Creation. They're just going to have to discard this. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2. They have 2 adventure creatures. How am I going to deal with this? Ashiok? Yeah, Ashiok will do it. Ashiok will do it. If they don't play this, they're going to use it to start things next turn. That seems pretty obvious. Alright, let's work on the draws. Elspeth's Nightmare. You're late, Negate. That was fun to say. Alright, now what? Let's scry. Gotta dig up the right stuff. That's good. That will do it. We need an untapped land, or we need to survive 2 turns. I don't know if that's gonna work. They have 7 cards in the graveyard. They need to get to 8 for this. Okay. What if we play the Nightmare? I guess we can wait for a target for that. Yeah, we might want to draw with the Tome. We might want to draw with Tome and then scry on upkeep and try to hit the untapped land to end this nonsense. Lotus Cobra, huh? I think we'll counter that. Too much mana. That puts it to 8. So, unless they throw a card directly into the graveyard, they shouldn't be able to get the Ox back this turn. Big ramps. Granted. They're just going to end up discarding it, so who cares? Maybe it's an escape card? Okay, yeah, they just fetch nothing. Alright, so we'll draw. We need an untapped land. Come on, deck. Okay, okay. So with Sublime Epiphany, we can bounce the Song of Creation with the trigger on the stack. We can counter, maybe we can counter the Ox. No, we have to let the Ox enter the battlefield. Okay, it's a bit unfortunate because they get a pretty epic turn here, right? Where they probably get to do a bunch of things, but then at the end they lose everything, so it's fine. Hopefully they don't get to where they just have the game-winning card, you know what I mean? Like their Thassa's Oracle. Yep. Yep. Oh man, this is scary. Whatever did I get myself into today? They don't have enough blue to cast an Oracle right now. We'll see if that changes. Sure. Bounce my Tome. That's kind of, I don't know. I guess better than bouncing the Omen if you really wanted to bounce something. What else you got? 22 cards in the deck. Lotus Cobra. How are we going to deal with all this stuff? Uh-huh. Keep it coming. 17. We're going to have this board full of permanents. What the heck are we going to do? Alright, trigger on the stack. We're not countering the ability, we're just bouncing the thing and I'm drawing a card. Alright, good. Now they have... now they have all this. And I has not much. How do we survive? I think we have to play a Nightmare. And we should get rid of the Innkeeper so they don't just draw their deck next turn. So that part's pretty clear to me. Now, the part that's really not is how they're going to play all these Bone Crusher Giants and beat me to death with them, so we need to find an Extinction event. I'm not that worried about Cobra except for the little bit of damage it's going to do, so maybe I should play second Nightmare, but I think that the way I get out of this now is by finding Land, Ugin, or Extinction event. So I'm going to play the Tome, and we're going to try to scry our way to those goods. That one, it must be a one of Ox, they don't have any others. It's really a problem. Not good. Interesting. Surely they're going to play a lot more stuff than that. Yep, here it comes. Man, we were one turn short on dealing with that song, weren't we? We really were. Alright, let's gain some life. I guess also if I had clung the Ox just really early in the game, I think that had a lot of ripple effects, letting that Ox come back from the situation I got myself in. I think that was a big mistake. Nope. Although Land Ugin was a potential, I don't think that's the first thing I'm going to look for here. Nope. Come on. Come on. Deck. Deck. Alright, missed. Get rid of the Ox and we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, the Ashiok's an option. Nope.
Listen to my whispers and sing the horrid hymn.
Not quite dead. Very close.
Morsel of fear.
Weird. Okay. Interesting. Leaving me with some life here. So the last Bone Crusher Giant doesn't kill me. Appreciate that. Thank you. And they are deploying more of them. All right, this is it. We need Ugin or we need Extinction Event. We have drawn neither in this game. Ugh. Man. No creatures in the graveyard, so we can't gain life with the Cling. We can block, kill, and then we still take 7, so we are dead. For the fun. Was there an Extinction Event or an Ugin nearby? Doesn't look like it. Yorion deck did me dirty. Okay, we had 3 cards to go. I definitely think I could have got there if I'd exiled that stupid Ox much earlier. That was just... I big-brained myself. Let's do it. We have good mana, at least to start the game, and we'll see what happens from there. Lovestruck Beast, of course. The broken card left in Standard, some would say. It's just in every deck, every time, always. Essence Scatter for sure. We need to hit our land drop with the Disruption. Because, yeah, mana has to be awkward. Alright, so this turn, counter their creature. Next turn, Solemn Simulacrum, and begin the push into the Planeswalker zone. Green and white with Lotus Cobra. I mean, I'm sure it's Henge. I'm sure it's Edgewalling Keeper. Those cards just go into every green deck, it seems like. What you got? This is the turn where we find out how much pressure we're under and what kind of pressure we're under. So what have you got? Is it a Questing Beast? Another Cobra. Okay. So what we want to do for the next several turns is push our way up to Ugin. Because whatever the opponent's doing with this Cobra, it's probably putting a bunch of stuff onto the battlefield. We can clean it up with Ugin. Look at the pro strategies. That's a good draw. That is kind of exactly what I wanted. I thought about saying that last turn. Because this fits our curve perfectly. We can take out the Cobra and buy the Yorion. And the Yorion can flicker the Solemn if it lives. And that can help us get to Ugin. It does mean we have to take a punch from the Lovestruck Beast. A very, very angry beastie. Naya. Okay. Perfect timing on that mountain. Absolutely perfect. Alright, so now we're probably playing Ashiok to put off our certain death. Wait a minute. Heartless Act. Ah, Kenrith and Basri's Lieutenant. So this is the Naya Winota adventure list that Stanislav Sivka is playing as we speak in the Zendikar Rising Championship. I think bouncing the Beast is really good here. If the opponent gets untapped land, it's really awkward. Let's see what's on top of our deck. Another Nightmare. No, we need another untapped land very badly. Yeah, we want the Ashiok now before the opponent has the Basri's Lieutenant because it has protection from multicolor.
Regrets of the dead are the sweetest ingredient.
I know it's kind of a sacrificial Ashiok and that makes some people sad, but I think it's the right play here. All we have to do is make sure we survive, and they give up the Basri's Lieutenant. Okay. In a way, we killed it. Good job, Ashiok. Selfless Savior, Lovestruck Beast. Oh, man. All right, come on, Ugin. Come on, Ugin. The top of the deck beckons. We need you.
I abandon my world.
All right, so we draw here. It's not going to be a land. So what I'm trying to decide if do I want to use the Heartless Act now and get the creature exiled. I don't think it matters too much with their deck, but they do have Lotus Cobra and they do have Kenrith that can bring things back. So what's our turn look like? Am I playing Yorion Tome? I think I'm playing Tome and Heartless Act no matter what. All right. The opponent can also just sacrifice the dog and protect the Bone Crusher Giant, and then I take 2, and that's horrible. Maybe I'm just playing Yorion. Maybe Tome is too slow. Yorion does brick wall everything. Yeah, and okay. And I guess Heartless Act isn't great because of the dog. So what I should have done is played Tome first and Scry. I missed on a free Scry. I'll just live with that. Life is hard. Normally, I'm pretty good at Yorioning. I'm disappointed in me. Alright, they drew the land, so they're going to Kenrith haste me. And that's going to deal 9. Ugh. Ugh. Make them stop. Alright, let's scry now. If we're going to exile the Yorion anyway, then blocking the thing that does the most damage makes sense. Because if we're going to 2, we can kill this next turn, but then we're still dead. Besides, the opponent, I think we try to get them to sacrifice the dog here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Maybe they will. Would you like to sacrifice Doggy and do less damage? Nah. Good choice. Alright, untap land time. Let's do it. Let's do it. Untap land. Thank you. Thank you. All right, -5. Goodbye, Kenny. Goodbye, Army of Bells.
Silent.
Bone Crusher Giant off the top. Edge wallet. Oh my, really? Oh. God, that makes me angry. All right. Bone Crusher Giant off the top. No. All right, first things first, let's draw. Target over here. We can hold this and see what they play. If they make a 1/1, we can destroy that. The other thing that we can do, if they have like a hasty Kenrith, I guess it's still fine because we want the instant speed removal. They do play Great Henge, don't they? Yes, they do. This is the good thing about net decking a lot. You know what's in the decks. Okay, we gotta survive this turn. Survive this turn. Get the 4 life from the tome. And then we're in business. What? You maniac, right into the Ugin? Okay. I target your innkeeper.
Do not ignore my draconic talents.
Is the last card a Bone Crusher Giant? I don't think so. I think it would have happened. Does this do anything? Exiling their graveyard doesn't really do it for me. If that's a Henge in hand, though, let's go get it. Should have done that first. Then I could have plussed and bolted the face. A couple misplays today. I'm not quite myself. Not quite myself. But that's okay. Still content. We're still here. Giant killer. I will draw. Nice. Ugin returns here. Another land. Bolt your killer. Pass the turn.
Ghost fire.
I guess I could have played this Ugin and had it on 9. Alright. So before the counter comes down, let's destroy it. I'm not going to castle to 2 again. I don't want to lose to Bone Crusher off the top. Here we go. No Kenrith, please. No Kenrith. Don't Kenny me. It's a land. -10 to Ugin, draw 7, gain 7. Let's choose some permanents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And bolt you. Somehow it did 13. Woo!
My greatest creation.
NC Geist. We're up against the Geist. Spooky Geist. I'm pushing up the lumbar support in the chair. Just really pushing it here. Try to get more blood to my head. I don't know. I don't know how science works. Try not to mess this game up. So I think we start by getting blue, because we could draw a blue card. And we could draw Swamp. So playing this on 2 tapped. We would have gone 1-2 tapped anyway. But we definitely want to play Nightmare. That part I'm sure about. Archfiend's Vessel opens the party over here. Skyclave's Shade. Alright, so if we play this and the opponent gets back a demon and we extinction event for even, life is good. If they don't get this back and we get to the exile graveyard part, we can kill the Shade with a removal spell and then see it get exiled. 2 Shades? Okay. Show me the hand. Mire's Grasp and Swamps. Oh boy! Let's see if we're done here. I mean, I might scoop. Lethal. Turn 4 extinction event. Who says control doesn't have win cons? Wow, all we have is negate Solomon Ugin. Easy keep. Easy. What am I doing? Have I lost my mind? Temple of Abandon. Alright, turn 2 creature. They're just laughing at me. However, if they go for like a Lovestruck Beast. Alright, we drew something. We drew something. Not done. Some bluff stops. Brushfire Elemental. That resolves. Then it dies. The Disruption. That could come in really handy. Yep. Super handy. Alright, so this will be another blue. Then we'll go get another black. They'll get to resolve a creature of some kind, but next turn we can negate the Henge or the Embercleave. We can buy the Yorion. We can try to get to Ugin. Play pattern is intact. There's the creature. Elspeth's Nightmare. Do I want to play that or buy the Yorion? I think we play the Nightmare. What we really don't want to see is Edgewalling Keeper. Because I do think we hold up the negate for either the Great Henge or a Lovestruck Beast. Like, they're super incentivized to play. Oh, okay. Well, we'll just counter that. I was going to say, if they have a Henge, they're super incentivized to play it because they're about to lose it to the Nightmare. Alright, that's fine. We get a card. Maybe negating the Fire Prophecy was just wrong. I got defensive of my robot. Okay. Everybody's always picking on Sad Robot, you know? Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's see. No land though. So what do we want to do? They can attack with the Lovestruck Beast because of the Brushfire Elemental. We need to get to Ugin. What gets us to Ugin? I mean, we could take a big hit next turn for 6 and then take out the Brushfire Elemental. Alright, I think I'm just going to kick or kill this beast, since I know it can attack next turn. Come on, Ugin. Let's go. Let's do this thing. It's Ugin and Yorion, till the end. Brothers in arms. Is the opponent going to try to maximize this Bone Crusher Giant instead of playing it? I hope so. Ah, yeah, they maximizes. They maximizing. What are we doing? I think we buy the Yorion. Maybe we cling something from our own graveyard first. We're at 17, so the life total is okay. Let's see what we draw. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Alright. Get that Brushfire. This really helps because if they top deck a Henge or a Cleave, we get to take it. And we get the Yorion. Opponent gets their 2 damage from their giant. They play the giant. They hold us something. Let's find out. Whatever you hold, I'm gonna see it. It better be worth holding. Oh no, double Ugin. Fable Passage is a good one. Go ahead and flicker this in case there's something next turn. Please don't draw Embercleave now. Or if you do, at least give me the untapped land, not the third Ugin. You troll of a deck. Come on, man. Come on. Ew, Embercleave. Okay. Could have been worse. Could have been a lot worse. Answer, please. Could block with a Crawling Barrens, but then I don't hit the land drop again. I could gain life with the Cling to Dust. I guess that's the best I can do. Do I want the Tome? I guess I do. I'm pretty low on cards. I don't know if I need it, but we can do this, and then draw the Tome, then play the Tome, then draw the land, then play the land, and say, beat me if you can. 15 life, Bone Crusher Giant, 1 card. Okay. Okay, that's the game. That's what we do. Let's see how hard they can hit us. They know we kept 2, so they know we kept that land, so they should know Ugin is coming, if they're thinking about it. So they could hold back any manner of threat here. Aggro mages, dude. Aggro frickin' mages.
Peace is fragile and fleeting. Cherish what little you find. You are too dangerous to roam free.
You are too dangerous to roam free. Look at that draw. I mean, they did hold the passage for it, so they deserve this. Like, they worked. This part they worked for. I'll give it to them. The third Ugin! Because why not? Why not the third Ugin? Dab on him.
Beyond.
I'm losing it today. Scoos! Now I can eat stuff from graveyards, like the cling to dust, if you're quick about it. Let's see. That's fun. All right, so this is interesting. We can target their ooze, but they're going to lose it, right? Unless, oh, there's still a Yorion in my graveyard and a Solemn, but we can cling in response. So watch this. Let's see what happens here. This is going to get interesting. In response to you casting that Solemn, that ooze activation, because it's a cost, they don't get a chance to target it again. So they could target their own Fable Passage in their own graveyard to keep me from drawing a card. Let's see if they do. So we remove this, and we remove this. And then it doesn't really matter. And those cards are gone. So you can't respond to them with another ooze activation and try to get it. They can eat their own Fable Passage, and then I don't draw a card. Then they can eat the Cling to Dust and feel like an alpha. I know, why not just eliminate it? Because Brushfire Elemental has haste, and I might need to eliminate that in the future. And Edgewall Innkeeper can lead to Chains of Adventure cards, and eliminating that might slow that down. Yep, good choice. You got it. If we had enough graveyard, we could do that again and keep, like, changing the targeting of the ooze, but it's not important here. Might hit a land. Where are you going? You don't wanna see what happens when Ugin ultimates? Look at this pairing. Migs is going for Mythic. We're still in Diamond 1 here. What's the hurry? Slow down. Enjoy the ride. On the bright side, they're probably playing creatures. They're probably playing something aggressive. If they weren't playing something aggressive, how on earth would they get this high so fast? Bingo. All right, now what? I can crack the Fabled Passage, and then I can Cling, exile it, and keep drawing cards. Or I can be ready for whatever their second creature is with the Heartless Act. But I think what I want to do is Bloodchief's Thirst, their 2-drop, and then Heartless Act, their 3-drop. So that means doing this now. We also get to throw the Cling in there to try to hit our 4th land drop for the Extinction event. Or find a Solemn to help us bridge into Ugin. By the way, is Ugin in my opening hand like every game? It feels like it. Feels like it. Goose? Honk honk. So if this is food, Oh yeah, we've gotta go way over the top if it's food. Can't miss a beat. The good news is we didn't get Trail of Crumbed yet. Essence Scatter. If they do play Trail of Crumbs, it's a big mistake to let the goose live. So let's kill that. And we're going to try to hold Extinction Event for a Troll King. And ignore this 1/1 until we get there, I hope. Let's Heartless Act the Lovestruck Beast. It doesn't have an ETB, so Essence Scatter is better against something else. Anything with an enters the battlefield trigger is much better to Essence Scatter than Heartless Act. Not buying the Orion until next turn. We can hold up the Essence Scatter. Ugh. Alright. Alright, Ugin, you got some lifting to do. Trail of Crumbs. It's a tough one. I suppose I would like more land, and I'm not bringing back the Cling yet. Oh, hello. Counter the activation would be funny, but no. Alright, I guess we have to counter that, because those things get out of hand. Non-land permanent. That would be you, I guess. We could target the food, but they'll just sacrifice it to draw a card anyway. I think it's basically their plan at this point. Alright, the mana is still moving. Opponent says nice, but I'm pretty sure the opponent is happy with getting a Sublime Epiphany out of the way in that manner. Let's go, Ugin. Let's go. It looks like it's about to happen. Troll King countered. It will come back once the opponent assembles 3 food. No, it won't. Forget that. Out of there. Get the heck out of the graveyard. Yes. Thank you for that. Oh yeah, it's nice. You should try it. You should see what comes next. Get rid of that Trail of Crumbs.
Reality.
Yep, another Troll King. I'm not surprised, but it's okay. Bolt you.
I will destroy if I must.
Since I have another Cling, maybe I play Omen here and see if we find a removal spell, and we can go removal Cling and save event. Let's at least look. You know, a Disruption might actually be really good here. Fits our curve. We can always play it as a land later if we want to. That's all it took. Yes! Over the top we go. You'll have to wait for Mythic next time. I had to get my Diamond 3. And we are back for the post-game wrap. Yorion does it again and again. Some really exciting games with the deck today, and just nail biters. It draws pretty well for an 80 card pile, at least it does for me. Hopefully it treats you the same. I didn't think Sad Robot would be good enough, but it turns out that this card is actually exactly what you need in this deck. But you could also run Reign of Revelation, which is another card I was trying out. I'd rather have the battlefield presence even as a chump blocker. Also, a card I forgot to mention in the intro, Crawling Barons. This card puts in work, and 4 copies, not regrettable. In the long matchups, it's usually the person who had the first Barons and charged it up the most, who gets to pound the other into submission. The mono greed and food matchups are interesting, and it's kind of getting the Ashiok and getting the Ugin, and especially getting a great Sublime Epiphany turn, are so important. I've been amazed at how important Cakes on a Brain is in the matchups where the games go long, especially mono green food and Dance of the Mance decks, Doom Foretold, other Yorion decks, Esper Yorion, Blue White Yorion. Like, having and resolving Sublime Epiphany, it's hard work and it takes timing and it has a lot of options. And it looks really bad in your hand on turn 3. But it's a huge difference maker. And I can't imagine winning long, grindy games without it in this meta. So do the Cakes on the Brain thing. It's worth it. On that note, I do recommend DIMIR UGIN for climbing, at least for a little while, unless the meta goes really hard into other blue decks that counter everything. This is a very expensive, clunky deck if it runs into hardcore control, so watch out for that. And yeah, there's definitely room to play around with it and see what you like the most. As we wind it down here in our 3rd day of Yorion, we still have 9 to go. And trust me, I'm reading all your comments and your suggestions for decks, and I love how much you guys kind of dive into the memes and enjoy the Yorion nonsense. So by all means, keep it coming. I see you, and thank you very much, as always, for watching all these videos. And please hit subscribe and tell your friends to do the same, as we march in the final 4,000 subscribers to the 100,000 mark. And can we do it before the end of 2020? I believe in us. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you to Maddie B for editing this video. As always, we will see you in the next video. Goodbye.